is LBC. From Global, leading Britain's conversation. Cross Question with Iain Dale.
Hello, very good evening to you. It is 8:02 on LBC. Welcome to Wednesday's Cross Question. Our panel tonight, Christina McAnea, General Secretary of Unison, the UK's largest trade union. If you're listening, Sharon Graham, you've got a bit to catch up. Andrew Rosindell is Conservative MP for Romford. Dr Ellie Chowns is a Green MP for North Herefordshire. And Geri Scott, Senior Political Correspondent for The Times. I always think, where are the junior political correspondents? You never get anyone called that, do you? 0345 6060 973 is the number to call if you'd like to put a question to our panel on any subject you like. It can be related to the week's news or not, as you like. And also you can watch us on Global Player. Andrew, I'm sure you remember being sort of an MP for the like your first week. What have you got any advice for Ellie?
Well, the best advice I can give is don't neglect the constituency, because it's so easy to be sucked into the Westminster village. It's very important that you maintain those constituency links, because they see us during the election, we're knocking on doors, we're promising the earth, and then all of a sudden a lot of MPs disappear and enter into the Westminster bubble, and the people of your constituency don't see. So that's the most important thing, that you don't forget the fact that you're elected by those people and they want to still see you, and you've got to be there for them.
Yeah, there's no risk of me forgetting that. And in fact, I wasn't promising the earth. I mean, that was one of the things. I was very clear with people. I'm not promising XYZ policy or
if Greens can't promise the earth, who can? I mean, Ravi in Isleworth. Hello, Ravi.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, would the panel agree with me that Sir Keir Starmer was absolutely correct in suspending the whip of the seven lefties? Because we all knew his opinion prior to the election, and he's a clever man. He has conscience. All he said was, let's wait for the budget. He will work on this. Yet the seven individuals had to make a stand, and I wish the whip was suspended longer. What does the panel think?
And do you support the two-child benefit cap?
I'm not going to give my opinions, but some people
You're asking
say
our
that
panel to give theirs.
Some people say, Iain, to become a parent, you should have some responsibility.
They do indeed.
That's all I'm going to say at this stage.
OK, I think we get your drift. Steve also asked a similar question. Should an MP ever lose their party whip for voting with their conscience? So let's combine these two. Now, Andrew, you're known as a pretty independent-minded MP. You've had the odd rebellion in your time, haven't you?
Yes, I have. And I believe that our Parliament is a place for MPs that have been elected by their constituents to speak freely. Now, of course, we're elected under a party banner, but equally so, we have a duty to our constituents and to our country. And if we disagree with something, we should be allowed to do so and vote a different way than our party. We don't live in a whip's dictatorship. Certainly in my party, many times I've rebelled, but I've always done so because I believe in principally against what the government are proposing. The best example, of course, was Theresa's third meaningful vote when they tried to push that Brexit deal through. There were 28 of us that refused to do it because we wanted a clean Brexit rather than half in, half out. Now, I cherish the fact that in the UK Parliament, you can do that and still keep the whip. There are, of course, times when you can lose the whip if you vote against your government or your party in a motion of confidence, or there's something else fundamental. So 2019...
But was this one of them?
Well,
what was this vote yesterday?
Well, that wasn't fundamental. That was simply on a day-to-day policy. If we're going to take the whip away from every MP that votes against any government policy, basically you don't have independently minded MPs anymore. You've got automatons that do as they're told, or they're thrown out the party. That's not what should happen. So although I understand why Keir Starmer has done it, I think it's far too controlling and really is against our traditions in the UK Parliament.
Can't be right that the Speaker can't choose a Labour amendment because it would be on the government side.
That was how it was explained, I believe.
But Kim didn't end up voting for the SNP
Brexit,
amendment,
didn't it?
No, she didn't.
John Bercow used to pick Dominic Grieve
John Bercow did exactly that, and that's why some people in the end lost the whip. So ultimately, this debate I find very strange, because I've sat in Parliament for quite some time now, and I've watched all kinds of rebellions on all sides of the House. I like politicians that have principles, and even if it means getting in trouble with the whips, I like politicians to speak their mind and to stand up for what they believe in, and this is certainly an issue that everyone's entitled to have an opinion on. But to take away the whip on one vote on an issue that would not have affected anything particularly is an extreme measure. I've not seen this used in quite such a way all the time I've been in Parliament. I do understand.
But it sends a message, doesn't it, to all the new MPs? It does,
but
a worrying message.
But it's saying to all the new Labour MPs, do as you are told, don't dare question,
it's
don't
as if Peter
dare
Mandelson
rebel.
was back, sort of like dictating.
Imagine
to all
if we'd
these MPs
had that
in their
approach
earpieces.
last few decades. Often it's the people
Brexit
that...
would have been a bit simpler, wouldn't it?
Would it be?
If we had the Conservative
You
chaos.
need people that speak out and are prepared to stand up and vote against their own
Christina, you
government
want
to make a point.
Francis in South Kensington. When are we going to weed out the thugs from our police force? Now, in a clip which has gone viral today, a police officer inside Terminal 2 of Manchester Airport who's holding a taser is seen kicking and stamping on the head of a suspect who's lying on the ground face down. In a statement, Greater Manchester Police says firearms officers were attacked while attempting to make an arrest after a fight, adding that it acknowledges the concerns of the conduct within the video and that its Professional Standards Directorate is investigating it.
Look, I haven't seen the video and I'm loath to comment on something I haven't seen and don't know the context of what took place. All I would say is this: there are always individuals in every walk of life that do things they shouldn't and overreact or get caught in a situation that gets out of control. And that happens in the police. We have seen examples of that. But I'm not going to sit here and condemn the police. They have an incredibly difficult job to do. They have to
clear, I wasn't condemning the police.
No, I wouldn't suggest you were, actually. They have an incredibly difficult job to do. They have to make impulsive decisions based on making a quick reaction to a given situation. So, yes, if there has been an action by any particular police officer which has caused unnecessary harm to an individual, there needs to be a process followed, an investigation into that. But I do think that the police today are under such immense pressure. All the police I speak to, they are quite demoralised at the lack of resources, but the enormity of the job they're facing. So I am in favour of supporting the police, and I do think they need more help to do the job that they need to do to protect us.
Anthony in Watford says 3 WPCs were hospitalised before that police officer took down that thug at the airport. Get it in context,
Well, so
please.
there you go. It's the context you've got to see.
I'm assuming that's right.
It's easy to look at something on a YouTube or on the internet and not actually know what happened before that.
And then Jen in Clacton is next, but I'm going to say to you, you need to answer this within 45 seconds each, and it's not an easy question to answer within 45 seconds. Ben, go ahead.
Times headline says long-term sick should be forced to seek work, says Labour advisor. A bit mischievous, but do the panel think that should happen?
So effectively, should the long-term sick be forced to work? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the chair of the Pathways to Work Commission and former Labour Health Secretary Alan Milburn says only around 1 in every 10 people who are economically inactive and get benefits are having to show they're trying to find work, saying the new government needs to work to get more economically inactive people into a job.
Absolutely. Everyone should be working unless they really cannot work. There are far too many people on benefits. It's exploded since the lockdowns and the pandemic. So we need to get real about this. It is unsustainable to continue to pay out benefits in the way that we're doing at the moment. Everybody that can work should be working. And now we have people working from home. If you are sick, actually, there are things you can do from home that you couldn't do from work. So we must reignite the culture of everyone has a duty to work, to earn their keep and to pay into society. Otherwise, we're going to go bankrupt.
Elections for all keeping to time. It's the first time that's ever happened. Right, Jane in Loughborough, our fun question. The internet is full of speculation, isn't it always, that Celine Dion could give a very rare public performance at the Olympic opening ceremony later this week, as she battles a very rare muscular condition. Who else would you love to see come out of retirement for the big celebration concert in Paris? Christina.
It's hard to think of anybody
any musicians who are still retired, like
Because they
Paul
go for ages
McCartney,
now, don't
Mick
they?
Jagger, Bruce Springsteen's doing sell-out concerts
Yep.
this weekend. I would say, for me, it would probably be ABBA. I would love to see them come out and do a concert.
Woman after my own heart, Andrew.
Well, I like ABBA too, so I agree with that. However, I would send over the band of the Royal Marines and play Rule Britannia. I think that would go down really well in Paris.
And thanks to you all for appearing on the programme tonight.